Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Leora and I help individuals discover and reveal the light within. This video, I'd like to talk to you about a topic that is very heavy on my heart. And it's kind of came about because friends I've hung out with, and they start telling me about their relationships and how they view their husbands or their partners they're with. And it usually goes something like this. Leora, I know he's stressed. I know he's just not happy at work. And I'm afraid that he isn't going to, make that deal. And I'm afraid to start having a family with him because I'm afraid that it's going to stress him out more. And I'm afraid. It's pretty much how it goes. It's either that version or the version that Leora, if I don't do it, he'll never do it. I have to take the trash out because he just lets it stand there forever. I have to be the one to clean up after him because he doesn't pick up his socks. I have to be the one to do everything because he just won't do it. Last weekend I had to mow the lawn because he never got around to it. Okay, it's one of those two versions I usually hear from women. And so I wanted to come on here and give you guys a little tips. So, my stepmom once told me something very wise. She said, yes, the husband is the head of the house, but the woman is the neck. She basically, is the one that is moving him, is getting him to go this way or that way. And I find that a very wise thing to say. And I've noticed that with my husband, that when my thoughts about him at any certain moment, they affect him. And it makes sense because energetically, we're bound together. And energetically, there's nobody closer to you than your husband. They're able to shine their spotlight on all of our shadow sides, on everything, our traumas, our dark side, the sides of us that we don't want anybody to see. Our partner has an ability to shine a spotlight onto those areas. So we are very close and intertwined with our partners. And I've noticed that my thoughts affect his actions. And it's kind of like almost that we form our husbands. We have to understand that in spirituality, a woman is much more connected to the spiritual realm than a man. Something like 99% to 1%. Like 99% is spiritual and 1% is just material. The masculine energy works in the material and the feminine energy works in the spiritual. So, and where is everything created? Everything is created in the spiritual realm. Thoughts, ideas, everything comes there and then it manifests into the physical realm. So, with that aspect in mind, we could say that I create my husband. We have the power to create or destroy our husbands. And what does a man want? Basically, a man wants to make his wife happy. When she's happy, he knows he's done something. He has success. He succeeded in making her happy. But what is it when you have a woman that's just always afraid, always afraid that you're not going to make it, always afraid that you're not going to be able to do it, always afraid that there's not going to be enough at the end of the month. You're not going to be good enough at that job. Your husband feels that. He feels this uncertainty and it becomes his uncertainty. He feels that inside of himself. And then how is he going to be able to work and create anything with uncertainty? He needs to be self-confident. He needs to know that he can do it. He needs to know if he fails at doing it, that you have his back. He needs to know that you will stand next to him no matter what. Think of the feminine energy. Think of a mother. Think of how nurturing a mother is. how she takes her children. It doesn't matter. They can bring her a weed and say, here, I got you a flower. And she's like, oh, thank you, you know? Or they can draw something and you can't tell what it is, but it's the most beautiful piece of art you've ever seen. Okay? This nurturing, this loving, this, you've got this. Anything you do is wonderful. And if you fall there, I'm going to be there to pick you up and bandage up your knee when you scrape it. You know, this type of attitude, that's what a man wants from a woman. He wants you to believe in him. He's out there in the material world where it's cutthroat. And all he's wanting is a woman to believe in him. Having this dialogue go on within us. Oh, I'm afraid he can't do it. I'm afraid he's going to fail. That's not believing in him. Start changing that. Start changing your inner dialogue. Change it. You know, our ego wants to keep us in fear. Our ego throws those fiery darts at us, and then we have to either be burned by them or we have to learn how to extinguish them. And the way you do that is that you take the dart, whatever it is, he's going to fail, you guys aren't going to make it financially, you turn it around. Thank you. You make an affirmation out of it in the form of thankfulness. So thank you, Creator, that my husband is successful at everything he does, that everything he touches turns to gold. Thank you that we have plenty. Thank you that we have not only our desire, not only our needs met, but our desires as well, our heart's desires. Thank you that we have abundance of everything good. We have abundance of material wealth. We have abundance of everything we need. It doesn't matter. Sustenance. We have sustenance without end. We have abundance without end. That we are happy. That we are loving towards one another. That we respect one another. That we our communication with one another is open and very. It brings something to communicate with them, you know? And anything that you're feeling that your husband is not communicating with you or doesn't receive you, or you have to start in the 99% realm. You've got to start changing that. You've got to start changing that within you. You have to go into meditation and visualize him being different. And I've done this. I've had this experience with many people, not just my husband, with many people, my children, everything. When my perspective of them changes and becomes more positive, they start changing according to my perspective of them. We are responsible for the people around us. We're not an island. I am responsible for my thoughts towards my husband, for my thoughts towards my children, for my thoughts. If I'm scared, that's something within me that I have to deal with. And when I've dealt with that, then this blockage within me comes crashing down, and I can give that person what they really need. And they need to be able to know that I believe in them. They need to know that I have their back. So our husbands need to know that we are there for them, that no matter what happens, we trust them. If you don't have that trust within yourself, you're not going to be able to give that. Everything I'm talking about here, you're going to have to first create within yourself. You have to learn to trust yourself. You have to learn to trust the Creator. And that is a huge thing, is because, yes, the material wealth and abundance can flow in through your husband, but he's still not the source. And so women who make all this pressure, put all this pressure on a man to bring in the bread or whatever you want to call it, you know, it's not fair. And the men have to also realize that they are also not the source. Nobody needs to carry that burden. The source is the Creator. And the Creator always comes through for us. So when I take off the pressure of my husband, when I deal with the insecurities inside me, and I start using affirmations to rewrite and reprogram myself and to reprogram the way I'm seeing him, then he'll start showing up differently. And then I can put more faith into the Creator, that the Creator flows the abundance, flows all of our needs through him. That is the magic of a woman. Women are magical. thoughts are energetic. They have a frequency that sets off, and we create with our thoughts, we create with our words, and we create with our actions. And do not forget your feelings. Your feeling is the fuel behind your manifestations. You're feeling what you really feel. Fear is a very strong and powerful feeling. If you're fearful, you will create that. It's funny because I grew up in Texas and never once saw a snake, never. And a friend of mine came to visit. He was terrified of snakes. He came from Europe and was going to visit me in Texas, and he's terrified of snakes. And sure enough, the first week he was there, he saw 2 snakes. I'm like, how do you even do that? I was like, I've never seen a snake, only in the zoo. And so what we fear will come upon us. Where you put your energy, where you put your attention, you are putting your creative power. So ask yourself today, where am I putting my creative power? Is that what I want to continue to create? And if not, start recreating a new story. You are the producer. You are the writer of your life. What kind of man do you want on your side? You and you alone can create him. And I tell you something, if he refuses to take this form, could also be everybody has a free will. If he wants to stay in his addictions, or he wants to stay in his victim mentality, he's happy there, then the universe will remove him and put somebody else on your side. You don't need to worry about that. You have to be willing to let go. You have to be willing to recreate. You have to be willing to let the universe do what the universe is supposed to do. Because it could be that you pulled this person into your life when you were at a certain stage of also being a victim. If you're full of fears, you're basically having a victim mentality. So you pulled him into your life when you were in a victim mentality. And if he's not willing to grow with you, he will have to be removed. And then you'll have your partner that where you're at the same vibration, same frequency, you'll pull another type of partner into your life. Okay? So those are the 2 options. But it's not an option to sit there and hack away at somebody and to make them miserable. And the other, I talked about 2 type of scenarios I always hear. The second type of scenario is, well, if I don't take the trash out, then he's not going to do it. No, you are stopping him from being able to step into his masculine energy. He has no motivation to step into his masculine energy because you're playing both parts. You're playing the feminine energy and the masculine energy, and you're pretty much just throwing your own little party. You're going to have to let that trash sit there and stink until he finally gets up and does it. And you're going to have to be happy and just be. I know that's hard because you really want to get it done, but you're going to have to learn just to be, and just to be in thankfulness. Thank you that he's always cleaning up after himself. Thank you that he's always taking the trash out. And you can use some humor. We don't need to hack away at each other. You can use humor. You can put a Post-it note on a room where he's in, where he comes out and he reads it. It says, "Hi, I'm starting to stink really bad and I could really use some fresh air. Can you please take me out? Yours truly, the trash." Okay? Then he's probably going to laugh and probably going to go do it. There are ways around it. If you're fighting all the time with your husband, if you noticed you're one of these 2, either you don't believe he's going to be able to do it, or you take over everything. Stop taking over everything. Let him come into his masculine power, and it may take some time. It's going to take some patience on your side, okay? But let him do that. And then also, if you are having too many doubts about him, then change that. Okay, if you guys enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe for all new content, and share with a friend. Share with a friend. If you hear any of your friends talk like type A or type B, share this video with your friends. And if you want to support this channel, then I'll leave a link below. I wish you guys all a wonderful, wonderful time. Partnerships are amazing, and can be very fulfilling if you know how to do it. I'll talk to you later.